right, Tuesday night here in the Source Media headquarters. A little bit late, but we're up and running. See, you guys are hanging out with us, waiting for us to start the show. Alessandro, ciao, what's up, buddy? Jeremy Sather in the house. Kevin Williams out of Indiana. And I know our ass prod is watching because he was giving us the blues for not getting the show started on time. But Rob Nussbaum, we're up and running, getting ready to go coast to coast with Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter in just a couple minutes here. Make sure you hit the like and share button, get this thing out there so everybody knows we're going live with our season ending, end of the year, happy holiday show coming at you in just 3 minutes. There's so many of you guys piling in already tonight, and since we were starting a little bit late, we'll get this thing kicked off, bring this one up out of the stable and onto the track. Let's get ready to go live with this week's installment of Coast to Coast. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. Hey, that was a picture of us. Chris Simmons here. I have a special guest, my husband, Patrick Simmons.
Aloha.
From Hawaii. It's kind of going to be a special show tonight. The end of the year. You know, great year it's been, but I mean, I guess it could be worse. We're here.
We're alive.
Our cup is half full.
We made it.
We made it. We're alive. We're not sick.
Well,
we're good.
We almost made it.
We almost made it. But we're out here in Hawaii. Let's bring Michael Lichter in from Boulder. Mike had a little issue with his computer, but he's here. Come on in, Mike.
Yeah, made it. Nothing like end of the year computer glitch, deciding to do whatever it wants to do, as Apple computers often do.
Hey, it's not even Y2K. Remember that?
Hey, I remember that. I went to Mexico to celebrate that. I said, I'm getting out of here and I'm just going to enjoy it without all the commotion. So I had a great Y2K. And this one, I'm ready to kick this one out, right? You always want to run back to this, heading back to the stable. We're going to kick this one out of the stable the whole year.
Yeah. Well,
right?
It's been, the year was it was an interesting year for us. I mean, our lives are totally different, but having the show was really fun. I think we started with July. Right around the 4th of July, maybe. I think you were on the first show. I think you missed. The first one was Gloria. And Rob was my co-host.
This is the year we got all our home projects completed, or nearly. Anyway.
We do?
Well, I wish I could say the same. I have so many, but, for me, I've been working hard, but it's been looking back. And I think that was a good opportunity for the year, is to go back and edit old pictures. I mean, if I can't go out and shoot around the world, why not look at the old pictures and see what I could make of them? And I think that's a great experience. That a lot of times, most photographers don't have the time to really do that and reflect. And so, in that sense, there's a lot of, there has been good that's happened.
Despite, you had to dig down a little bit.
And you had your shoulder done. When were you ever going to have time to do your shoulder?
That's right. The shoulder done. That was months of effort there.
Yeah, that's right.
And the recuperation. I'm back, and I'm hopefully going to get to go ahead and go skiing this week.
My facial reconstruction and hair transplant. It's going pretty
We're
good.
getting everything taken care of.
Oh boy.
really.
But actually, you think about it, you got this show going and it's developed a bit of a following and has a good feel to it. I think, when you started, you weren't sure where you're going with it. And I think it's got a real strong sense of finding women in the culture and the industry that have compelling stories. And that's what we look for. I think that's great.
Yeah, now they're finding us too. So it's kind of cool that, we started out with a list of people that were kind of our wish list, who we wanted. Of course, Gloria was my number one. We got her for the first show, and I was so excited, because Gloria is one of my best friends. I just love her, and her daughters, of course, Lori and Kathy, granddaughter. But I think you joined us on, was it the second or third show? Oh, there's Gloria. Oh, there's Cyril. Remember Cyril? What a sweet man.
Yeah, that's one of my shots. I do remember Cyril. He had I think it was his 60th birthday. Somehow he was in Boulder, Colorado. And I invited him over and he said, "Oh, that's cool. It's actually my birthday." And I'm going like, "Well, that's awesome." And we had the most amazing time together. And it wasn't long after that he was gone. What a terrible loss.
Yeah, he had his, and what a loss for the industry as well. I mean, he was it was a personal friend of ours, but for the industry, his blog, I mean, we read Cyril's blog every morning.
Yeah.
We got to read Cyril's blog. What's going on in the motorcycle industry?
It was well presented and upbeat, and he had his way of doing things. So
it was one of the first things I read every morning.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just a sweetheart of a guy too. He did that French kiss thing, like inside your face.
I don't know if I ever understood anything he ever said, but.
Hey, I don't mean to butt in on you guys, but I have to say this. Cyril Hughes gave me one of my greatest lessons in marketing ever.
Let's hear it.
So
yeah.
He tells me this thing. He says to me in his broken French, "Chris, I'm going to teach you about marketing in this one story." And I said, "Okay." And he said, 2 guys go to the same city street, same side of the street, on the same day, and stay for the same amount of time to collect money. One of them comes back with way more money than the other one. They're both blind. What was the difference? And I'm like, I don't know how they were dressed. Was this, was that? He said, no, everything was the same. They were dressed the same, standing the same. Everything was the same. They're both holding a sign. Signs are the same. Only thing is different is what's written on the sign. He said the one guy that had the less money said, "Help, I'm blind." The guy that had more money said, "It's a beautiful sunny day and I cannot see it."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was like
2 ways of saying the same thing,
but super powerful. And like he used it as a lesson in marketing. But Cyril he always had a great way to deliver things like that. He had a great perspective.
That's powerful.
Yeah, he's a sweet man. We miss him. I think about him all the time. I'm in I used to see him at the Legends ride all the time, remember? And Sturgis and stuff. And then Daytona, of course.
I'd see him everywhere, really.
Well, you know what? Rob's watching this.
I'd see him, then I'd see Mike Lichter.
When I met Cyril, I actually met him. There was this thing in 1995 that was needless markup. Neiman Marcus had one catalog offering they did every year. It was like their main thing. And in 1995, that was this ride with Harley Davidsons through the desert of Arizona, Monument Valley. And it was like this deluxe 5-star trip. And I got invited to photograph it. So certainly I went. What an opportunity that was. And that's when I met Cyril. And he was at that time known as, this is way before a blog, as a custom bike builder.
That's right.
And he had quite the flair. I don't know that a lot of people remember that.
I do. I remember that. Yeah. What a great guy.
Built some beautiful bikes.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to pop this.
Oh, and you got to show it. And you got to get it close to the mic. So.
It's not a commercial. I'm going to get a sponsor.
Well, you got to.
This is for Rob.
Hey, Rob, eat your heart out, Rob Nussbaum. Come on, let's hear it.
What is that? Maui what?
Maui Brewing Company.
Listen to that sound.
Nice.
Rob, this is for you. I might drink too.
It's called Bikini Blonde.
Rob always tries to get me a drink too. I don't know what.
Nice.
Mm.
I
know you have one too.
That reminds me.
I'm not a big drinker, but you know what?
Hey, Rob, what's this?
This year, after this year.
Oh, yeah.
Rob, you said you suck. Hey,
Happy
watch
New Year.
that, Rob.
Happy New Year.
Anyway, yeah. So, it's been a great year. I mean, as far as building our show and all the cool people we've met. And I know Heather, I want to bring Heather Callan in if we can. I just love this woman. And I'm just Like she is like, you're my hero. You
Oh,
do it all.
jeepers. And I
You really
feel the
do.
same way about you. I
What
really
a
do.
cool guest to have for our end of year show
I
too. How
know,
appropriate, because
I don't know about
she's
that.
there every week behind the scenes, and here she is front and center, which is really nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been so inspired by the guests that you've had. And I mean, I'll readily admit and Chris, you know this, and people are gonna think I'm crazy. You're like, I want to do a show centered around women riders. I'm like, really? Like how long do you think you can carry that for? And I have to tell you, and I will openly admit that I was wrong. I have been so inspired by so many of the guests that you have had on, that I look forward to it every week. Some of them I know, a lot of them I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, but I want to meet. And they've opened my eyes and given me so much new perspective as to who they were in real life versus what you see on
Is that
social
our
media.
dog or yours?
It's our dog or
It's
your
not
dog.
mine.
But it's ours.
That's a dog in my background, I think.
On the way have a puppy. She barks. But thank you, Heather. And I didn't know all these women either. I knew, in the beginning, of course, I knew that, I'm calling on my friends because I'm like, help, we have the show. And, I just want to share people's stories. And I want people to know that we're in this industry. We're here to stay. We've been here a long time and we're not going anywhere. But I just love the fact that they're from all different walks of life and age, and we try to mix it up a little bit. I mean, Mike, you've probably known more of them than I have. You're bringing a lot of people that I don't know, and vice versa. Maybe.
Well, I think just from photographing everybody. Actually, I'm trying to remember. Heather, can you tell me when you started working at the Broken Spoke in Laconia?
Chris and I were talking about that the other day. I think my very first motorcycle rally ever was actually in 2005, and I worked at Boot Hill Saloon in Laconia. I worked for Karen Garris selling T-shirts. And then
I may have photographed you then, but I didn't meet you then.
Yeah, I want to say
we
maybe
actually interacted once you went over to
2006.
the Spoke.
Yeah, I think 2006 was my first year at the Broken Spoke. And what a year that was. And I'm pretty sure that was it. I remember things that happened and how I got the job and all of that good stuff. I don't exactly remember what year it was, but I had actually I lived in Laconia, and I was like, well, the rally's here. It kind of screws things up for a couple weeks. I may as well take advantage of it. And I went to the Broken Spoke hoping to get like a job as a beer tub girl, just make a couple extra bucks or whatever. And I interviewed, and Jay Allen told me I was too chubby. But
You were what? What did he say? Wait a minute. Say that again.
At the time I was too chubby. But he needed
Too what?
I was too chubby. I was too fat.
No.
Oh, God.
Which
Jay
back
Allen
then I
told you
was.
that?
Oh yeah, back then I was
Jay.
definitely.
Did you slap him, I hope?
No, it was fine. Because I was chubby. I was chubby. I was, at one point in my life, I was just shy of 200 pounds. I wasn't then, but I wasn't, I was definitely bigger. But he said,
you weren't. I remember you were beautiful. I have pictures of you from then to prove
Well,
it.
when I
There's
see
no
Jay,
question. You're so easy to work
I'm going
with
to
as well.
slap him.
But no, actually, I have to I thank him now almost every time I get the chance to talk to him, because he said, I don't have that job for you, but I need a female on my security staff. And I went, I have no idea, but I'll give it a go. And it turned out I was really good at it. And then the next year I was the manager of their security staff. And then, a few years down the road, I ended up being the operations manager for all the Broken Spokes in the country. So it really worked out to my benefit that I was a little too chubby to serve beer.
Well, we know Jay's not going to be the biker of the year. You're off the list, Jay.
No, it was fun, but it
love
was
Jay.
true. I was, I had some extra pounds on, and I was definitely chubbier. And I'm significantly more modest than any bartender I had ever hired.
That's
I
interesting, because
bartend in jeans and
last
a
time I saw
t-shirt.
Jay, he had put on a few pounds, actually. I was surprising.
Ooh.
Wow, you're looking a little. Never mind.
He's kidding.
No, Jay is awesome. Like I said, and I'm very thankful, because if he hadn't have given me that opportunity, There is no way, and holy hell, I would be sitting here right now. There
It's
really
interesting
wouldn't
how
be.
that works, isn't it? And
Yeah.
that's how you guys met. That's how you met Chris, right? Tell us that.
Oh, jeepers. So
Oh,
it was
boy.
actually in Sturgis that we officially met. I had heard of them, and, he was there with the Limp Nicky lot, AKA a bunch of drunken hooligans
That's
under
what
the
I
guise
call it.
of being
That's
there
true.
for business.
Yeah.
But my very first main interaction with Mr. Callan was when I threw him and everybody he was with off the property in Sturgis
Awesome.
because they set the parking lot on fire.
No way.
Oh yeah, yep. And the campground, out at the campground, that was where I worked. And they started out as mini bike races. And if you've ever been out there, you have to drive through the bar to park. So it was this big loop. And the bar is actually an airplane hangar. It's like 30,000 square feet. It's a massive building. But so they would ride through, and each time they went through, there was a different hazard. One time it was water, one time it was ice, next time it was gasoline and fire.
Oh my God.
Well, in Sturgis that year, it was a drought year, and it's like a $2 million fine if
Oh,
a
yeah,
fire
it's
gets
dry
out
out
of
there.
control.
Yikes.
So I had some choice words for Mr. Callan and his
Ooh.
friends.
That was when
Yeah,
I
he
knew.
probably loved that.
So you put him in his place,
That,
right?
that's when I knew I was going to marry her, like right that day. As I was trying to convince her to let us stay, me and 30 other builders from all over the country that she's literally throwing off the lot.
It was something to the effect of you and the morons you rode in here with get something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
I'm curious. So when you started working at the in Laconia the first time, did you have any experience at all with motorcycles?
No.
Wow.
Nope.
So you've really gone from the kettle. They got thrown from the
Oh,
kettle
yeah.
into the pot on this one, huh?
I mean, the closest experience I would say is when I grew up in a small town in Massachusetts called Pepperell, and there used to be quite a famous dirt track there, and for motocross racing, and people would come from all over for that. And I can remember my brothers, who were 10 years older than me, they would flag at the track sometimes. But it was about a mile from my house or so. But I had very little to no experience with motorcycles when I started that. And when I started it from the venue perspective. I was, when I had the Sturgis campground, I called it the world's largest adult daycare center.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
600
Can't even
acres, a
imagine.
swimming pool, and a bunch of, drunk people there to party for 2 weeks.
Oh my
But it was
gosh. Hey,
definitely different.
Robbie says he raced at motocross at Pepperell.
Yeah,
Very
yep,
cool.
that's where I grew up.
Oh.
So, but I had no, and like I said, from a venue perspective, it's very different than what I do now. So I get the best of both. I have both perspectives now. When Chris is trying to work with a venue, going, I don't understand why they're not doing this. I'm like, well, this is why. And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. But then,
Yeah, you definitely see that side of it for sure.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I would never even have thought that. I
It's-
had no
it's-
idea. No.
totally different. Totally
Hey,
different.
do me a favor and tell them, because she had a 10 years worth of motorcycle experience of the broken spoke before she started doing stuff with me and Cycle Source. But tell them what the first thing that I made you do when you came to Cycle Source, so that you would get it from the garage builder perspective to be
Oh.
able to do this.
So we built an Ironhead Sportster together. Chris, one of Chris's friends, had literally dropped an old Ironhead off a 73 in his driveway with a note on it that said, "Make something cool out of me."
So Heather had to kick it over
No, it definitely, it was clapped out,
again
but
and again.
we actually together, he taught me how to tear a bike down and how to fabricate things and go through the whole process of building a couple motorcycles. And actually that motorcycle was the first bike Chris had ever had in one of Michael's shows.
What was that one called?
That was Bored to Death. It
Well,
was
you
in
know
Your
what?
Skin and Bones.
always loved that name. I just actually wrote that out today for some reason. I was going through some old stuff, and every time I come across that, I go, "That's the Callan Wit." I
Yep.
love it.
Mm.
It's such a
Bored to
great
death for a
bike.
board tracker. Isn't that great?
Yeah,
great.
it's
It was a great bike.
and it was a process. Like, I mean, I sandblasted and polished and
Wow.
everything. And I was involved in pretty much all of it, including when the bike was complete. It was ready. It had already been shot for the magazine, and Michael called and said, "Hey, I'd really love to have one of your bikes in, but this is the theme." And it was tattooed inspired motorcycles. And Chris said, "Not a problem. I'll pull the motor out and we'll engrave it this weekend." And he did. He pulled the motor out, and
Oh, it was more than that because he had never done it before. So this
no,
was
he hadn't. Yeah,
it was a challenge. I threw the gauntlet down.
you
and he
always have a
rose to
tendency
the
to do
occasion. My
that.
goodness, he figured it out, and he did so much engraving on that thing, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, it
You
came.
really-
It's one of my
it was
favorite
great.
motorcycles.
Beautiful. Where is it now?
Is that like
It's here. We
Oh,
have
you
it.
have it. Awesome.
is that like an Indian front end on it?
That's actually that is not a Kiwi front end. Sorry, Kiwi.
Not Kiwi, but I mean just Indian in general, or
That was a Voodoo Vintage leaf spring that we had put on that. And it's funny, I love the motorcycle now, but when it first came back from paint, I cried. Because
Oh my goodness.
we had a very clear picture of what we wanted it to look like. We wanted to pay homage to the old Wall of Death rider, and it was supposed to be these, classic vintage, kind of faded maroon burgundies and navy blues with this cream. And Chris had actually told the painter, and this is why he paints his own bikes now. He told the painter, the painter had a question about something on the oil tank. And he says, "Well, don't worry. I'll defer to your artistic muse or whatever." And at that point, the paint job was like 90% done. It was perfect, exactly what we wanted. The next day, we got to paint a picture of it, and I looked at Chris and I said, "That's not my motorcycle."
Oh,
Oh yeah, that would do it to me. I would cry too. I would be crying.
So
with
for the
tears.
first 6 months, I cried every time I looked at it. Now I love it. Like, I wouldn't change anything on it, but that was my first real experience building a motorcycle.
so 15 years ago, 2005.
Oh my
You
goodness.
hadn't even, your first year of doing anything with motorcycling. Here it is 15 years later, you're crying about a paint job. Your life has totally changed.
Oh my
So
goodness.
how do you feel about motorcycles 15 years later? I mean, compare your life to then and now. It's kind of bizarre, isn't it?
It's so totally different, because when I worked at the Broken Spoke for the first 5 years or so, I worked a full-time day job, and I had 2 small kids that I was raising pretty much on my own. And I worked at the Broken Spoke. So when a rally would come around, I would take my vacation time from my medical job and go work a rally. And now I couldn't imagine my life without motorcycles. The people that it has brought to me and the values that I have learned from Chris, because Chris in a lot of ways is as advanced and forward thinking as he is with everything we do at the magazine. He is such an old soul, and he's really taught me about the values and the brotherhood and the respect. And I tend to be a little old fashioned too, so it's been an unbelievable experience, and I've been able to see.
It's funny, Pat, because normally the way she says that is grumpy old bastard, or you know what I mean.
Oh, I won't deny that he is turning into a grumpy old
I
bastard.
never do that.
It's funny because Chris has no values. So
What, me or other Chris? Other Chris.
But I couldn't imagine my life without the motorcycle and
That's right.
without the magazine, because we've been able to do things that 15 years ago, working at the orthopedics office, I would never have guessed that we would do, like be in LA one day, having flown our daughter out to an IMS show because it's near the holidays, and looking at her and say, "Do you want to go see the Grand Canyon?" And having the ability to wake up at the Grand Canyon with our daughter on the way to another show.
And watch the sunrise at the southern rim. Yep.
Or being on the way to Lone Star Rally and saying, you want to have
Yep.
coffee and beignets in New
Yeah, you
Orleans.
guys are like us. You're gypsies. You know, you live on the road. That's how it is for us. We live on the road. Usually,
Yeah.
how many months of the year we're in a tour bus, and we wake up and I'm like, where are we? You know, sometimes you forget where you are,
Right?
but it's always fun because we're together and we go we explore and we have fun and
It's been an adventure.
foods and stuff. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
mean-
And I heard you're going to get your motorcycle license. Is
I'm
it
worried.
something-
That's my goal for this year. That's my
Yeah?
goal for
Oh my gosh.
2021.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? If it feels right, do. If it doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I
know?
had started to take the class years ago when I lived in New Hampshire at the local Harley dealership. And I thought I was doing okay. I was keeping the bike up and I was doing my little circles and I was a little slower than everybody else, but I kind of knew I would be. And it all changed when they had this general manager who was fairly new. And she came out and yelled at me in front of the whole class
Oh no.
because I was going too slow.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I
No, no.
literally parked the bike and walked away. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's it. You just humiliated me in front of entire class.
Yeah,
I'll
I
have
had
to
to
revisit
with an
split
this
it.
another
introduction like
time.
that to motorcycles, and then along with being told you were chubby, I'm
know,
amazed
what
you
the
stayed
hell?
Hey, I
in
was
there.
chubby back then. It's okay, you know.
I remember you then. I don't believe it.
No,
This
I
reminds me
was.
so much of Chris and I.
Huh? When?
I don't know.
Wait, I gave plans like COVID jelly. He eats everything and he never gains a pound. I'm
Oh,
tired of it.
I can't stand
no.
people like you. I look at chocolate and I gain weight.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous. But no, Chris and I were friends for a long time before we actually got together.
And she actually used to call me her best girlfriend.
He was.
Oh, I
So
love that.
here's something. Here's something, Heather, and probably everybody out there already knows this. You know, like usually the writing test. You know, when you go take it, it's like pretty straight ahead, pretty simple. It's the question and answer writing part of it that's the hard part of motorcycle testing. You know, when you go to get your license, because they ask you things like, you know, if there's a dog chasing you. You know, what do? You kick the dog,
The shit out of it.
you chase the dog, get on, you know, speed up and chase the dog.
So you have to
Or
answer what
you-
you're supposed to do, not what you're really going to do.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, funny things like that seem like obvious. Well, you know, you're going to take off.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well, you just turn on the gas and take off. No, you're supposed to like,
Stop and pet the dog.
well, you're supposed
That's
to go.
probably what I
go-
do. I'd be like,
Go
oh, look how cute you
forward
are.
slowly, then take off slowly. So you don't do it, you know, you don't run over the
Fake 'em
dog.
out.
Basically,
Yeah,
they're trying
yeah.
to keep you from
Well,
running.
remember when I first moved to California? I'd ridden in Illinois for like 25 years, and I moved to California in 1990 with him. And I went to take the test and I failed it. And I told the guy, I've been writing for 20 years. He goes, I know, but you got to answer it how it is in the book, not what you would do. What does it say in the book?
Oh, that's the
Like,
A lot of
worst.
people don't read the book. You got to, when it comes
Yeah.
to motorcycles,
It's
you
the
have to
book.
read the copy
Mhm.
because it's different from what you think on a motorcycle, what they
Mm.
expect, and a difference from state to state too. But
Yeah.
And basically, I have to just forget everything I watch Chris do.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, I love it. Ooh, where's the sound effects now?
wah, wah.
You know, there's
Where's that toilet flush?
people have checked in from a lot of places. I think we should probably take our break soon here, but
yeah.
I think we should at least let know that we're seeing people from the Big Island in Hawaii, Frank
Nice.
Stefanak and Dave Crum from North Jersey, of course, the Nussbaums, both Rob and Beth from Jersey, Jimmy Bradley from Milwaukee, and there's a guy whose name I just butchered before, but it's in fact Brian Pelletier from
Ooh, you got it
Swansea,
right this
Mass.
week. Look at you.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, Walter Singer,
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Michael Johnston. Hey
And
there.
I can't figure this out. Walter Curro commented, maybe someone could answer this. He says, hey, Mike Puglisi, a grandfather. So That's just a short comment, but I'd like somebody to fill the rest of that in. Did he just become a grandfather or whatever?
Sounds like it.
Very cool family and a great motorcycle builder we haven't seen in years. Bill Redenzel's checking in from Blizzardville, Wisconsin. He's our
And the Gilmores.
wonderful
Charlie Gilmore. Hey,
Charlie
Charlie.
Gilmore.
Harley Museum.
Hey, Holly. Hey, Holly Perry.
Yeah, everybody. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Let's take our
Ray,
break, Mike, and then we'll come back and talk about some more.
One last thing, though. There was one comment from Milwaukee Mike, and it was with regard to Chris Callan being Heather's best girlfriend.
Oh,
And
boy.
he wrote, where was that? Can you find that for me, Chris?
Who said it? Michael Johnston?
Yeah, Milwaukee
Milwaukee
Mike.
Mike.
Milwaukee Mike.
Oh,
Callan, half
Callan.
chip, maybe more.
Half chick, maybe more. Yeah,
Yeah, half
That
chick,
was-
maybe more. That's
Oh.
Milwaukee Mike's little. He threw something down there.
Well, that was a running joke for a long time because I worked primarily with women, and out of all of them, like we were going to institute an estrogen level check, but everyone had determined that I would always be off the meter with that because I'm, on deadline and stuff. I'm the most emotional.
Oh,
I'm
he's
the,
very emotional.
So yeah,
Oh, you're such a good girlfriend.
Michael, you can kiss my ass, both of you. Milwaukee Mike and Mike Lichter, you can both kiss my ass now.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
All righty.
See you in a few minutes.
I joined the military straight out of high school because I felt like I really needed some direction in my life. And what I got out of it was a sense of purpose and, more importantly, to be part of a brotherhood. I started riding when I was 21 on sport bikes like most of us do when we're 21 years old. Quickly, I transitioned into love of a cruiser. My perfect ride would be with all my buddies with me, riding on the coast of the ocean. There's something amazing about having all your friends with you in the perfect scenery all at the same time. My bike is a 2015 Harley-Davidson Dyna Fat Bob. My favorite upgrades to it so far are my custom fairing and my 16-inch ape hanger handlebars. My name is Brandon LaBelle, and I'm a Dennis Kirk rider.
All right, we're back. Hey, my co-host left. Where'd he go? I think he went to pee. Anyway, hey, you know what? I was just
I'm
looking
here.
at. I know you're here. I'm talking about the husband co-host.
He's more than a co-host. Come on, give him some
I
credit.
know,
where
I'm
credit's
gonna
due.
do.
You sleep with the guy every night. He's right there.
Yeah, last night he snorted his ass
Is that
off.
just
Oh,
a
there he is.
co-host? Oh yeah, for sure. Buddy.
Here he comes. We're just thinking about some of their shows that we had in the past. And the Van Buren sisters, the women builders, Jay.
Start, what about the first
Sophie,
one? Go to the first one.
Gloria,
your buddy.
Gloria, my hero, my mentor. And then the Wall Riders having Sandra D on. I think that was your first show, Mike. Was it with Sandra D?
That was show
Pat
2. I
changed his
came
hat.
on.
Hey, you're just like the guy from Leonard
Days.
Skinner.
Oh wow, look at that. Who is that masked man?
I'm a special
and,
guest
Sandra D.
from the country. I just got off a riding a bull.
Yeah, you're right. It's a bull, all right. Pappy's. Hey, someone said your nickname is Pappy Simmons. Is that true? Or the decider? Rob calls him the decider because when the cannonball, Pat makes the decisions. Maybe.
Hey, Rob, you don't have one of these, do you?
Rob likes bikini blonde.
He's jealous. He did say you guys suck in his comments.
We had
But,
people
there
on like,
was show 2 that I came on, Sandra D. I think that
yeah.
I think one thing that has come out has shown is how excited these guests are. Sandra D, her life is motorcycles. She has been doing that wall of death. She went AWOL from the friggin' army, to go join the wall of death. What a great story, And then
Really?
our third show with she and Sophie bringing builders on. So we're really touching a lot of bases, right?
Yeah, and then we went back into history stuff, the Van Buren sisters story, having their great Nissan and
you cannonball ladies too.
And the clocks. There we go. There's our clock people, and then Letitia Klein, who have she's so amazing. She just got elected to city council. Okay, hello, Letitia, a politician. She's awesome.
Wait, she got elected?
She did.
Yeah,
She won the election.
Oh, there's Andy. There's a picture of Andy Rollins, and then we had Angel Sampion who won
the drag racing, and she did the
racing
electric bike for Harley. Amazing, first female Harley sponsored drag racer.
Yeah,
Then we
she
had
is
our
a show.
mechanics,
Our mechanics show.
Leanna and
Leanna.
Tina. A lot of good stuff. A lot of exciting people.
Yeah.
Becky Brown, Shelley Rossmeyer. Boy, she gets pumped up, doesn't she?
Shelley's just an awesome person. And I want to say something about Athena and Leanna. They actually became friends, I think. And I think it's kind of cool that we can kind of bring people together, didn't really know each other and to kind of have the connection now. So that's cool. And then having Karen Davidson on was killer, I can't believe we scored Karen because Karen was such a cool person. But, she's just always been so amazing. And there's Shelley on Sons of Speed. You got your Sons of Speed shirt on.
Ashmore Ellis was kind of cool. The Babes Right Out, because that's something I don't get to see because it's women only. But hearing that story, plus she does a lot of stuff that's not women only, and I'd love to participate in some of her events. I mean,
you did. You invited yourself several times. I think.
Well, I'm not going to let me into Babes, but they will let me into the other ones.
Yeah, the one with the guys. The guy one
with the guys.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Definitely.
Very cool.
And then having the biker women reunion was really special to me.
I'll bet.
That they did the movie, like how many years ago was that? Gazillion years ago.
I think you're going to have to escape to another B&B and do another weekend with your
I know. We definitely need to get together again. And then Wendy Crockett, who I met on the women's motorcycle conference that I had done back in November, she is like, wow, the Iron Butt Plus.
I loved her story.
Yeah.
I found that inspiring. She had a better score than any guy. So it wasn't only that she was the first woman to do it and to win it, but she had a better score than any guy. What a great story. Her riding all the way through South America with her daughter, taking a year to do that. That's, boy, what a woman, huh?
Yep. And, just meeting, and then Portia Taylor, of course, I'm a huge fan of Portia Taylor. She's just Black Girls Ride and just amazing.
Well, it brought a different element, didn't it? To a different side of motorcycling that we don't get to see enough.
Yeah, she's a really cool person. I'm going to, and it's funny because I met, I knew some of these women and I feel like I've made so many new friends and people that I really want to reconnect with later on and maybe we've been riding or just hang out, It's like after this COVID thing is over, and then having Jill Parham and Marilyn.
Yeah, they're weekly in a group.
Yeah.
Bunch of drunks.
Stacey Wilt was another one that I think, again, it shows the passion for motorcycling that these women have. She's living it.
Yeah, she's cool.
I mean, she just jumps on that bike and goes.
And she likes to ride to eat. What's wrong with that? Right? Everybody likes that. That was really fun. Yeah. And then
right up to last week.
Yeah, definitely. And Crystal was just amazing. I didn't know, I knew of her. I met her, you meet people a little bit at rallies, but you don't really know them, until you really get to see. She's done so much with the veterans. I'm proud to know her. And then, our future guests. We've got a couple really cool people coming up the next 2-3 weeks. We've got planned. Maybe you want to talk about some of those.
Well, Stephanie Peets next
Yep.
week. She is, boy, I'll tell you, I look at photographs of her. I took some photographs of her, but I haven't shot a lot. I've shot her doing hooligan racing. So she's I think the only woman hooligan racer right now. Gets out there with a big twin, and she bumps shoulders with the guys, and she goes into those corners, elbow to elbow.
God.
And it's amazing. But what I love the most, though, is seeing these pictures of her jumping. I mean, she is flying through the air. And then this shot of her going through the sand dunes, it makes me go, I want to do that. I really
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I found out she was going to be on the show, I did a little YouTube thing on her, and there's YouTube videos of her jumping and getting air. I was like, oh my God, she's not just out there motocrossing with the guys. She is like taking control,
Oh,
And
she's incredible.
And of course, she's beautiful, and she's a spokesperson and all that stuff.
And
Oh
you
my
know
God.
what? She exudes confidence, doesn't she? Everything about her. It's like, just, hey, don't mess with me. This is who I am. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But I love that. Isn't that great? Seeing her
Oh
jump.
my God.
Wow.
What's amazing also is if you zoom in on that, you'd see that I as far as I could tell, she's not wearing a top, because you see this full back tattoo.
I was gonna say, I think there's no top there.
Anyways,
Wow.
really cool stuff. And then in 2 weeks, why don't you tell us? That's
Chris, you can't zoom in. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it explains a little better.
Yeah.
Wait, let me get my
Yeah,
glasses.
and in 2 weeks we're gonna have my friend. In 2 weeks we're gonna have. Oh wait, are we gonna have Andrea on in 2 weeks?
Pasties.
Andrea,
I
yeah.
think she was wearing pasties.
We're having Andrea LaBarbera, who is amazing cannonball rider, riding I think it's a 13 Henderson, perfect score in the last cannonball.
and there's, again, another person that exudes confidence.
And
There's
she
a
rode the
portrait of her-
chase.
There's a portrait of her that I did on the chase that I'll have to have on the show in 2 weeks. But I just look at it. I did a lot of studio portraits that trip. One of her exudes this confidence, this comfort level of who she is and what she is, and it's really great. And of course, she's a pilot in a commercial
Airline.
jet.
Yeah,
So she flies for the airlines, JetBlue. So
Yep. And she's always flying on Tuesdays. I'm like, hey, how did we get her? Did she not get her? Did
she
she
said
change her
she'd be in a
schedule?
hotel, so we have her.
We got her in a hotel on Tuesday. Okay, we'll have to figure out where she's flying in that. What an amazing person. Just such a good person.
I'm looking
And just so
forward
fun to ride with,
to Rob. So the two chase and cannonballers. And then we have one more show that we have coming up.
Yep. And
Good
Jenny
one.
Lefferts, who founded Mad Maps, which is a great, she had since sold the company, but she loved riding and she would find people, she called them her scouts, and she'd find people from all over the country, and they would map different motorcycle rides. So it became Mad Maps is like the coolest motorcycle ride map company. And we're going to have Jenny on the show.
You know, they were beautifully designed maps too. They were really
She said she used some of your
graphics were
photos.
great. They were handy. What's that?
Didn't she use some of your photos?
She used my photos. Yeah. I'm not saying they were beautiful because I used my photos, but
Wow.
the graphic design on it was really beautiful. It was handy, well to use. And it's something I'm looking forward to actually talking to her about maps, because I love maps.
Me
And I
too.
miss maps. I really, and I'm an adapter. I use the phone and all that, but I miss maps. I really do.
I still have maps. And I have an
I
atlas.
miss naps.
He misses nap. But I like
No, not naps. Not naps. No.
No, Michael, let the man talk. Let the man talk.
You know, I wanted to say I've watched a lot of these programs, and
almost all of them. Yeah.
all the people, the persons on the program, they all kind of came to motorcycling from different avenues. It's like Heather, you know, it's like that story was so great. I never
I know.
really would have, understood that or known that. And but it's not about it. To me, when I watch the show, it's not that they're women. They're motorcyclists and how they came to enjoy the sport. You know, it's always a cliche. Yeah, I like motorcycles. The freedom of being on the road, the freedom of driving. It's so corny. The stories are so much.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Getting crickets.
they're so, really deep and so interesting. But anyway,
I think Pat,
I've been really enjoying it.
Oh,
I think Pat, that's what Heather was saying. Not that it was kind of a diss to Chris, like, why are you going to do a show about women? But,
right.
Chris has always been such a great example. Like even, what she said in the Cannonball, hey,
Yes.
don't give me an award for being a woman who's riding on this thing. Give me an award for what I'm doing, and like, I think
Right.
that's the thing is that for some women like Heather and Chris and, Stephanie Peets and a lot of the guests that have been on here, it really is that perspective. That's what makes this such a great
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's-
Well, I mean,
Very
we're
cool.
just people, and you know
Was
what?
that your feminine sides?
It
He's
was.
my girlfriend. He's my girlfriend. Stop.
No, that's exactly what I meant. And, I want credit for the job that I do because I do a good job, not because of the
Right.
equipment I have. I don't want to be
Right.
a female moto journalist.
What's wrong with
I
your
want to be a
equipment?
moto journalist. I don't want to be a female motorcycle magazine editor and publisher. I just want to be a magazine editor and publisher. What equipment I was born with should not have any bearing on how I can or cannot do my job. And I mean, and that's exactly, thank you for clarifying that for me.
That's right.
And I do think it's great that you do see more women, openly pursuing that passion that for a lot of years it was taboo, so to speak, but
Well, and
motorcycling
then-
in general was
and then
taboo
for-
for a long time.
Then for a minute too, it like kind of became kitschy. I hate to say it like that, but like it was a little trendy thing. And I think, the kind of stuff that they're doing here on Coast to Coast rises above that. There's a qualifying mark that this shoots right past. In the first 5 minutes of the people that you're interviewing, it goes straight past that.
Yes.
Some of these women, they blow my mind. I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh my
gosh.
God,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, phew.
Some of them, you take
them.
Angel Sampi, for example. It's
Oh.
about time. She gets clocked, and she got out there for Harley on the electric bike, and she clocked the highest it's gone, and didn't matter if she's a guy or a woman. It's very cool that it was a woman that did it. But
Yeah, same on the Cannonball. I mean, there's only a handful of women out of 60 or 70 men, 80 men. There's two or three women. But you know what? We're out there doing the same thing, the same
same
day,
rules,
the
same
same
everything.
rain, whatever, cold, and it doesn't really matter.
I think one of the things the show, I hope, does is inspires, but also shows that there aren't that many female mechanics, but there are more and more. There aren't very many female drag racers, but there are more and more. And for everything, whether it's the long distance riders, pretty much every week you can look at every show that we have, and you can say, wow, it's just even with Karen Davidson, let's say, and what she does with design, it just encourages people to go for it, to go for what you want to do, and don't be held back by any stereotypes.
And that's
Amen.
motorcycling, baby. That's
right.
Well,
You know what? Here's a quote for you. Be yourself, because everyone
Yes.
else is taken.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Amen.
Yep.
Absolutely.
that's it. Where'd you get
Absolutely.
I said, a friend of mine in Maui told me
I
that he has
like
a
that
T-shirt
one.
that says that, and
that?
it's true.
Next week we'll bring up a lot of these things with Stephanie, I think, because there's somebody that you could say, skip that I'm a woman and just look at the fact that I'm a racer and put me up against the guys. But she's kind of gone beyond that and says, hey, I like being girly too.
Absolutely.
I like putting some makeup on and getting dressed up, and that's cool. And the fact that I'm a model also, and find me attractive, I'm okay with that. So she's sort of
we had
accepting
the
the whole thing.
we had the benefit of having an interview with her, and I love the fact that she's actually fiercely defensive of her feminine side. Like
Absolutely.
she loves being a woman. She loves that she's
It's
attractive.
just
and-
like Chris. Personalities.
See, I'm not gonna say anything anymore.
Hey, he's more feminine than I
I'm
am.
sorry, I'm just fucking.
No, and that
You
was
know
one
I-
of the
Hey,
things.
I like Stephanie because she says she swears like a truck. Hey, I swear. I
Oh,
I
she
more
does
than
swear
you
like
do.
a traffic driver, and she
I'll tell you
dogged
what.
on Chris so bad on the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
It was awesome. She's
I
like,
like
"Wow, you're
that. I'm
old."
sorry. I like
she
her
was great.
saying, you know what? If you can't trust anyone who doesn't swear. Okay. Anyway,
So where's everybody? What's anybody doing for New Year's? Anything special?
gee, let me think.
We're flying to Switzerland.
We're going to Zermatt.
We're going to Zermatt, Switzerland.
We're actually
Get our head.
we're gonna head up to New Hampshire, so I can see
That's nice.
my siblings and
Hampshire.
our grandchildren. Our grandchildren live up there, so we're gonna spend a few days with them and
That's awesome.
bring mom back with us for a little bit. So
Oh,
Are
nice.
they in the lake? Are they in Winnipesaukee or?
my son and his family are very near Lake Winnipesaukee. They're just like a mile away from Gunstock, Michael.
Oh, wow.
What about Bob?
What about Bob? We love Winnipesaukee.
Hey, we're gonna baby steps back from New Hampshire with her mother.
Oh,
But they
that's
got
sweet. That's
last
nice.
week they
One
got
thing, we'll have to come back to all this laughing and smiling, but with the mention of New Hampshire,
yes.
we have to do a little call out to Charlie St. Clair and Jennifer and the people at
Yes.
the Laconia rally because they
Charlie.
had
97 years worth of history.
Oh my God.
How
pictures
heartbreaking.
of the Charlie texted me pictures after the fire, and I looked at them and you
What?
wanna
Wait, they
cry.
had a fire? I didn't even hear
They
that.
did
Oh,
at rally.
burned down. Everything is gone. I mean, the place
Yeah.
is gutted. Nothing survived. Their computers, laptops. But more than
Everything.
that, there's 98 years of memorabilia that they've been collecting.
Okay,
And
what about the pants? Did the pants make it?
I think
Oh
those
my
are
God.
there's
Wow.
the photos are just oh
Yeah,
my
it was
God. That's
heartbreaking.
everything. Charlie,
What happened?
Fire.
they don't know. They think it may have been electrical, but Charlie got a call at 10 o'clock in the morning on Christmas morning
Yep.
to come down to the office, and
Oh,
that was it.
Gosh. Oh,
So I'm
wow.
so sorry. So if anybody has memorabilia out there, you may want to consider a donation back to the Laconia rally so they could start building up something. They were hoping to open a museum with all that they've collected.
Yeah.
So they're a long way away from that. But
Unbelievable.
That's a great idea.
terrible.
We'll have
From
to
what I
dig
understand,
around.
people from all over the world are reaching out, and I hope they continue to do so. Again, it was coming up. This 2021 will mark, 98 years for the Laconia Motorcycle Rally. It's the oldest rally in the country. So
Wow,
yeah,
amazing.
so well,
We'll send our
so
love out to
like I
Charlie.
said, let's kick this year out. I mean, there was good to be had. I agree with that,
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of soul searching because we had the time to do it.
Mhm.
But I'm ready for the
Me
vaccine and get back to
Me
my
too.
travels.
I think 2020 gave a lot of people a whole new perspective on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find, I know I do, I value the time that I get to spend with people a whole lot more now.
Oh,
Because
really?
I haven't been able to see and hug Michael this year, and we haven't seen you, Chris and Pat, and
Good to
most
see
of our
anybody.
moto family.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. Man, we saw our daughter. We saw our daughter in October.
We
other
saw
than
some
that.
friends a few days
2
ago
days
that we hadn't
ago.
seen for months.
We sat outside in a
We
picnic
sat
table.
outside and
Yep.
drank a bottle of champagne.
We drank 2
and
bottles of
it was
champagne.
like-
Good for
He
you.
drank.
it was like it was huge. I mean, it was like, wow,
I know, it's like-
this is
I didn't touch him. I was like, "Hi."
Yeah,
yeah. So,
but on the other
get
side,
it.
the way Heather said, you appreciate your friends in that way. There's another side is that I travel quite a bit and around the world, and this summer, Catherine and I sat outside and had dinner about 60 times.
That's
And
amazing.
I don't think we've ever sat outside 10 times in the summer.
Yeah.
It's gone so much. So there is an appreciation of that also, that maybe coming back, and this is to you, Heather, that we've learned so much, but some of that may be we may want to change the way things work a little bit. Maybe,
Yeah.
it's been really cool. I just spent a lot of time cooking, working in the garden, and being around my wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We're never home.
Okay, wait a minute. If we're gonna get back to jocularity for a minute, I just got Chris's joke about what happened to the pants. God, it was so good. That was
Charlie's pants.
awesome.
Remember Charlie? Yep. Hey, Mike. I think when he broke his leg on the way to Brittany and Matt's
In
Olsen's
Iowa, I
wedding,
went and visited him.
he hit
in
a
the
deer. I
hospital.
think they cut him off. I think they cut the pants off. We went to
No.
see him in the
No,
hospital.
he's still got them. I've
I
seen
know
him
he
since.
still has. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, I'll
Charlie.
call him tomorrow.
Okay, call him tomorrow. Tell him I said hi.
And ask about the pants.
I'll tell him that we publicize that to the world.
Yeah, no, really, we need to dig around and see if we have any Laconia stuff. Maybe we have something.
By the way, a little tidbit on Charlie. we met in 1979.
Oh, geez.
I think I could say this now because it's over 40 years ago, but he was doing something you're not supposed to do in City Park. Now, they didn't shut the park because of that, but they could have shut the park because of it. So, yeah, I'm not going to say what he did. No, it was pretty bad, so I'm not going to say it. But
was it number 1 or number 2?
I'll tell you, I can't. But before that, we met then. But the odd thing then was he used to teach at Boulder High in the mid-'70s.
Really?
Teacher? Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Where
He's
my
an
kids went to
interesting
school.
guy.
So, I mean, I didn't know him then, but that's kind of cool.
It's amazing.
That
Wow.
he was, just a few years older, a little
It
older
was
than me.
shortly before his arrest.
I'm curious.
God.
But it sure will be good to see all these people that we haven't seen in so long, right?
Is that what
We-
you're
well, we
looking
look
forward
forward
to
to it.
most? Is seeing the people that you've missed this year?
Definitely. For me, I don't know about Pat.
Bah humbug.
Pat wants to play music.
I was gonna say, Pat,
Right
are you
on.
missing the music?
Nobody misses me.
Yes,
No.
we miss you.
No, seriously. Do you miss the music? Do you miss playing live music, Pat? Has that been hard for you this year?
It's been really hard. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of my life really was
Yeah.
been playing with the band. And
It's the first summer in what, a year in like 50 years.
It's
50,
pretty
60
weird.
years.
It's a little strange.
What's that going to be like to get back on stage after the longest break you've ever had?
I don't know.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's hard to say, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
I'm gonna
It's
cry.
Scary. I'll
Yeah.
be scared.
Are you
His
gonna
fingers will
cry
be sore.
because
I'll be
you
nervous.
miss him, Chris, or are you gonna cry because you're happy for him?
Both. I know I go with them most of the time now. Their kids are grown up. We do a lot of traveling together, but we're usually not home this long. So it's like cleaning closets and just digging around. Well, he does that. I kind of like take care of the dog, but just
Michael,
getting
what do
caught
you-
up on stuff. But we spend a lot of time together, and we get along. We're 31 years, I think now, something like that.
Yeah.
We met in Sturgis. The story.
That's
but-
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Sturgis is a good place. Maybe they should take Virginia's motto.
What's
there you
that?
go.
Sturgis,
Show me.
Virginia is for lovers. I think we should change it to
Right.
Sturgis
Yeah.
is for lovers.
Sturgis for lovers. Hey,
Yeah.
we're right there with you guys.
That's two of you,
Yeah.
right? Two couples.
That's right.
That's
Chris
right.
and I met and got married in Sturgis.
Wow.
I think the hardest thing for me this year, I agree with Heather that the valuable perspective that's been given about how precious each day is. The fact that for at least a decade now we've got involved in such a rat race more than ever in the history of the United States. At least we've
the
gotten so
world.
busy chasing everything that we lost track of the importance of that afternoon with someone and just literally sitting on a log shooting a shit or anything. And I think about the fact that what probably breaks my heart the most about the end of this whole thing, the end of this year, is the people who this may be their last year. We have some family who are coming to the end of their lives and thinking about the fact that like this might have been the last couple months for them, and that it's under these circumstances. That breaks my heart the most.
That's true.
I've become painfully aware of the importance of every day.
Every day is a gift.
Absolutely.
That's what I always say. Each day is a gift. Yep. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for allowing us to do this show, and it's really given me a different perspective of my life, and especially motorcycling. Being print journalist for so many years, to be able to get out of my comfort zone and actually get excited for the show. I was terrified the first few weeks, and now I'm actually kind of relaxed and I'm kind of enjoying it a lot more. So thank you both, and
Oh,
Michael, and Rob, and everybody.
Hey, let's not
Oh,
forget.
you
Thanks for inviting me in.
Well, I thank you.
And who?
Oh, I think it's been a great
My engineer
addition.
and Josh for helping us out too, our son. But
It's-
thank you guys.
No,
That's
it's
been
been
good.
a terrific addition to the lineup, and I'm so glad that Chris is able to get you guys out on the air. I can't wait to see what you guys bring in 2021, and maybe if we can all manage to get in the same place at the same time, we can do a live show with you
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be
and have a
great.
nice panel. I guess
That
that
would be
would
killer.
that's
Yeah.
that's a good goal to look forward to for
Well, that'd
2021.
be very cool.
You know,
You could do your act.
My act?
Yeah,
What's that?
I don't know. Whatever come up.
Hey,
Actually,
dude,
I just want to all be in
Come
the
over to
same
party
place.
piece.
Tell anybody.
So
my-
Pat
You haven't
can
seen
cook
her act yet.
the gumbo
Wendy,
for us.
It's
Wait,
fabulous.
pull my shirt up. No, not okay. Anyway, it's a family show. I think say thanks to my son Josh too. He's out there keeping the dog quiet.
Hey, and thanks to all our viewers. I mean, boy, they
Yes.
lots and lots of comments. I know just there are on to 200 comments just on Facebook and lots
Yeah,
more on
buddy.
the multiple feeds. So very
Right.
cool. Nice
well,
stuff.
we should definitely, all of us, everybody on the screen here represents a lot of time and effort put into this, and we thank all of you guys for giving us your time to come and check out what we're doing, because we really do this for the spirit of community, in the motorcycle industry and family around it. But we want to give thanks to people like Chopper Town and Broken Spokes and everybody that helps carry the feed, and like Nancy Weems, who's here first every show, every
Yep,
week,
Nancy's always there.
sharing with
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
We couldn't do any of this without all of you guys. So thank you so much.
All right. Well,
Awesome. On that
okay,
note,
we'll see you next year, I guess.
we'll see you all next year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thanks,
Make the
Ted.
most of it. Figure one out, right?
All right. Well, you guys take care. We'll see you next week.
Be good,
Okay.
be safe.
Sweet.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Happy New Year. Good night, everybody.
Aloha.
Thanks for coming. Bye.